Ed Kelce strolled down the sunlit path alongside the 18th hole at Edgewood Tahoe Resort, the brim of his straw hat shading his eyes, a floral Hawaiian shirt billowing in the warm breeze. Just a few paces behind, his sons Travis and Jason walked together, laughter rippling between them as they waited to complete the first round of the American Century Championship. This wasn't just any golf outing. It was a celebrity tournament known for drawing stars from every corner of entertainment, and the air practically buzzed with excitement. Actors, athletes, and musicians mingled on the course, but no one attracted more attention than the Kelce brothers. Every camera turned in their direction. Fans pressed up against the ropes, straining for a glimpse, an autograph, a selfie. Even the local wildlife seemed curious. A black bear ambled over to investigate the commotion, pausing as if it too recognized the NFL icons. Yet, as Ed moved through the crowd, he passed almost unnoticed. It was a curious anonymity for the father of two of professional football's biggest stars. Not so long ago, his life had been grounded in the quiet Cleveland suburbs, a world defined by Little League games and backyard cookouts. Now, Ed found himself straddling the fault line between sports stardom and pop culture royalty. His world had changed almost overnight, and he described it only as bordering on the surreal. He often shook his head in disbelief, remembering how not so long ago he'd simply been another dad in the stands, cheering on his boys through rain, snow, and heartbreak. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's pretty crazy when you stop and think about it, he liked to say, and who could argue? The Kelce brothers had already carved their names into NFL history, growing from roughhousing kids in Ohio to legends on the field. Ed had watched it all, year after year, attending 6 Super Bowls, marveling time and again at what his sons had accomplished. But nothing had prepared him for what happened when Travis Kelce started dating Taylor Swift. The family's profile exploded into another dimension, the force of Swift's fame propelling them into a relentless public spotlight. The frenzy was instant and unrelenting. "She's a very special person," Ed said with a gentle smile, recalling their first meeting. "One of the most giving and caring people I've ever met." Incredibly, he hadn't even recognized her at first when she arrived at Travis's house in Kansas City ahead of a Chiefs game, flanked by her ever-present security detail. "Oh my God, I know this kid, but I don't know what her name is," he muttered to himself, only for his girlfriend Lauren to whisper, "Taylor Swift, you idiot." Since that day, Ed and Swift had forged their own quiet bond, often seen sharing a laugh in the stands, arms linked as they watched Travis play. Ed went out of his way to find Swift a unique birthday present, something that would tug at her heartstrings and make her feel truly cherished. Last November, he traveled to Toronto to see one of her final Eras tour shows, swapping friendship bracelets with Swifties who swept him up in the electric atmosphere. "It was like seeing the Beatles," Ed marveled, still awed as he remembered the music thundering around him and the crowd singing every word. He rarely gives interviews, preferring to let his sons take the spotlight. But on this day, as he paused beside the 17th green at Edgewood, he allowed himself a moment to reflect. Dozens of boats bobbed nearby on the blue lake, fans tossed footballs and hats for signatures. A DJ spun tracks as the party raged. By the time the Kelce brothers made their way around the course again, the afternoon sun glared overhead, the crowds were louder, and the mood was somewhere between festival and sporting event. "Oh, I love coming out here," Ed said, soaking in the chaos. For a while, it seemed possible that both Travis and Jason might be at Tahoe as retired players. Jason had stepped away from football in March 2024, his body battered after years in the trenches with the Eagles. Travis toyed with the idea, especially after winning consecutive Super Bowls with the Chiefs. A three-peat was within reach, and the family, joined by Swift, cheered him on from the stands. But in February, hopes were dashed. The Chiefs fell to the Philadelphia Eagles, the very team where Jason had spent his entire career. The loss stung. Uncertainty hung thick in the air for weeks, rumors swirling about Travis's possible retirement, until finally he confirmed he'd return for another season. "Oh, there was never any doubt in my mind," Ed admitted, though he'd kept those thoughts private. Did Travis ask for input? No, Ed replied simply. Would he have given advice if asked? No, still, he knew his son wasn't finished. He wasn't ready to quit. It was a sour taste. That sucked. If you were a Chiefs player or a Chiefs fan, that Super Bowl was the worst. Ed saw no outward scars on Travis after the defeat, but he didn't need to. I've seen that in him for 35 years raising him, and I knew that when it happened. With a year left on his $34.25 million contract, Travis's future beyond the NFL remains uncertain. But Ed is confident his son will have plenty of opportunities. I think Travis has all the tools and charisma to do something similar to what Jason's doing, only it will be his. Jason, meanwhile, had launched a new career in broadcasting, working as an NFL analyst for ESPN and hosting a late-night chat show. "I've always felt that's where his future lies," Ed said, proud of his eldest. He picked a time that was right for him. He made the decision and did it and hasn't looked back. Travis, too, was dipping his toes into television and film, hosting a game show called Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? And appearing in a horror series. Soon, he would take on his first big-screen role in Happy Gilmore 2. The brothers' joint podcast, New Heights, co-hosted with Jason's wife, Kylie, soared in popularity, drawing millions of listeners eager for their banter and insight. Between Travis, Jason, and Swift, their combined cultural pull was nearly unrivaled. Their brand stretched across entertainment and sport, their family's net worth approaching $2 billion. Even Donna Kelce, Ed's ex-wife, had transformed into a celebrity. After decades in banking, Donna now enjoyed acting cameos and would soon appear as a contestant on The Traitors. Though Ed and Donna divorced about 10 years ago, their devotion to Travis and Jason remained unwavering. Ed, for his part, preferred to keep a lower profile, unruffled by the whirlwind of attention that now swirled around his family. Recalling the days when Travis and Jason were just boys, Ed laughed about the surest way to irritate him, leaving food on their plate. Now his biggest worry before tee-off was simple. "How are you set for sunscreen?" he'd asked Travis, fatherly concern never far from the surface. Hours later, as the day wound down and Ed walked the 18th hole, he found himself straddling the line between two lives: football dad and patriarch of a burgeoning empire. The Kelce story, once a familiar tale of hard work and family, is now something much larger, a phenomenon unfolding in real time. Their rise began in the quiet neighborhoods of Cleveland Heights, where Ed and Donna juggled work and family, fostering a home filled with laughter, competition, and encouragement. Jason, the older sibling, set the tone, fiercely determined, quick-witted, a leader on and off the field. Travis, more free-spirited, followed close behind, always pushing boundaries, always eager to carve his own path. Football became their shared language, their bond forged under Friday night lights and on backyard fields. Ed watched as both sons excelled in high school, then college, and finally the NFL. Each step brought new challenges, new triumphs, new pressures. Jason, drafted by the Eagles, became a cornerstone of Philadelphia's line, a beloved figure in the city. Travis, landing with the Chiefs, evolved into one of the greatest tight ends in league history, his charisma and talent making him a superstar. Through it all, Ed and Donna were constants, supporting, guiding, celebrating every milestone. Family gatherings became larger, celebrations more elaborate, but the core remained the same: respect, love, and an unwavering belief in each other. When Travis met Taylor Swift, their world shifted again. Swift, accustomed to life in the spotlight, navigated the frenzy with grace, quickly winning over the Kelce clan. Ed and Taylor shared quiet moments away from the cameras, discovering a kinship grounded in humility and generosity. Their connection was genuine, marked by thoughtful gestures, shared laughter, and a mutual respect that transcended fame. Ed treasured these moments, grateful for the new dimensions Swift brought to their family. Even as the public's fascination intensified, Ed remained grounded. He marveled at the way his sons handled scrutiny, their resilience and humor never waning. Jason's transition to broadcasting was seamless, his insights and wit making him a natural on camera. Travis's foray into entertainment felt inevitable, his larger-than-life personality perfectly suited for TV and film. The podcast New Heights became a cultural touchstone. Its blend of humor, honesty, and sports knowledge resonated with fans around the world. Ed watched with pride as Travis and Jason built something enduring, their influence stretching far beyond football. Donna's new adventures, too, brought joy. Her leap into reality television and acting showcased her versatility and